How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.
Not too often that New Zealand don't make it to the knockout stages of these events. Victory against Bangladesh will firm up their chances of making the Final Four at the Champions Trophy. We build up to that game on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricinfo Match Day in the company of Sanjay Manjrekar. Thank you, Sanjay, for your time. This is also our first look at Rawalpindi for this edition of the Champions Trophy. New Zealand, they were thoroughly professional, as you guys called it, in that game against Pakistan. Just keep expecting more of the same?
Yeah, more of the same, and maybe right through the tournament. Looks a very impressive side. They've got all bases covered. They've got spin quality. They've got some good seamers. Their fielding side is brilliant, and a good captain in Mitchel, Santner as well. If at all they have any issues, it's about picking the playing 11 if Rachin is fit.
Yeah, that is a potential selection headache for New Zealand if Rachin Ravindra were to be fit, because Will Young scored a sparkling century. Devon Conway is the usual mainstay. What would you do?
I have no idea, because I don't want to drop somebody like a Devon Conway. I know he didn't get too many in the last match, but if you look at his one-day track record, just recently he's got a 90 and a 40, so it will be terribly unfair if Conway is dropped. And Will Young played the perfect one-day innings, so you can't leave a person out after that kind of a performance. So maybe ask Rachin to rest a little longer. What else can he do? If they try and tweak their bowling attack and get Darren Mitchell to bowl some overs of seam, it will just bring down, the X factor in the team. So I have no idea how they're going to tackle it. Maybe they'll ask Rachin to just, wait his turn.
Yeah, and that bowling attack was so impressive in that tournament opener in Karachi. Not the most responsive of surfaces, but they troubled Pakistan. When you consider that pace pack against Bangladesh, who looked quite brittle with their batting, it feels like a one-way tussle?
Yes, it does, because they're so efficient. New Zealand, if the pace bowlers don't make an impression, they've got, two off-spinners in Phillips and Bracewell and Mitchell, Santner, and if there's going to be pace, people like Matt Henry, are going to be tough to handle. Plus, if Bangladesh have one of those recoveries like they had against India, they still have enough batting firepower to make it. So, yeah, it will be, I think, more of a learning curve for Bangladesh. Also, maybe just to imbibe some of the qualities that New Zealand have shown as to how they have embraced Asian conditions and how they have tried to excel in this part of the world, and they have started doing it.
So, as far as this game goes for Bangladesh, what is their best way to try and contend with first the New Zealand bowling?
See, it all comes down with Pakistan and Bangladesh. It comes down to ability. It's easy for us to say, play with a free mind and play with a positive mind, but do you have that kind of ability to take on the New Zealand seamers and get a big score? So all you can do is what every individual can do best. So maybe get some people like Mahmudullah in the team, Nahid Rana, a little more ability. I think in the last game they were slightly unsure about their batting depth. Maybe that's why Tanzim Hassan played, but I'd like to see them bring some quality in, because you're hoping for some kind of an exceptional performance. And for that to happen, then you can't be thinking, let's cover batting and bowling and go for specialists. That's why Nahid Rana could, come good and get a couple of batters out, batters who got runs like a Latham or Will Young. Then you have at least some fighting chance.
The batting suggestion that you mentioned, Mahmudullah, he is now fit. He had missed the first game. If he comes in and you had Towhid and Jakar show a lot of fight, you could possibly bat one of them higher up, because you have Mahmudullah's experience down at 6 and 7.
Yeah, but Mahmudullah's role has been, and we've seen him in the 50 overs World Cup as well against South Africa at the Wankhede Stadium, where he batted down the order, and I think he got 100 as well, but couldn't save his team. So if you're going to have experienced players in, it's high time, they started batting those players up the order. So Soumya Sarkar is, slightly out of form, didn't get runs in the last game. They have to get people like Mahmudullah up the order where they can actually prevent a crisis from happening, rather than a crisis setting in and them trying to, avert or trying to break through from the crisis. So that is something you've got to do. But Bangladesh cricket is not known for all the experienced players batting at the top, like Mushfiqur as well, Shakib and Mahmudullah have always occupied those positions down there. And I've said this a million times before. Let's see whether that happens.
The other individual you mentioned is interesting in Nahid Rana because Rawalpindi, where we are seeing the first game of this Champions Trophy, usually great for batting, but can have a bit in it for the Pacers with the new ball. Could that be Bangladesh's best bet if you get to bowl first and try to rattle New Zealand early in the innings?
Yes, and they could do that, and I think they are committed to pace quite a bit. And the way Mustafizur bowled in the last game was brilliant. He was by far Bangladesh's best bowler, and he'll be their go-to bowler. Whether he'll be able to get wickets is another thing. So that maybe could be something Taskin could try and Nahid Rana. Bangladesh's reality is really, if they have to beat a mainstream team, they've got to have a pitch that really turns for them to, be on top. Even if the pitch seems a little bit, the Kiwi bowlers will get more out of it than the Bangladeshi seamers who are coming of age. The conditions there not suitable most for Bangladesh, but more suitable for New Zealand. So all they can do is perhaps what it did in the last game, showed some spark and try and do the best you can, and maybe every game will tell them how far they need to go at the international level.
Yeah, the odds are against them, but the fans will count on the omens because what they will look for is the last time Bangladesh and New Zealand met at the Champions Trophy 8 years ago. One of Bangladesh's more famous wins, they beat New Zealand and they actually made the semi-finals. Can they do a repeat? We'll find out.
How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.